Hi, I'm Ashay. I'm an engineer by training and a storyteller by passion. I made this podcast to talk about data science, but no math, no equations, just intuitions behind data science. The episodes are not in any particular order, and you can just tune into any episode and listen to something related to data science. Let's get started. Machine learning is collection of mathematical methods to analyze data. But why do we need to analyze data in the first place? Let's think about that. So if we take a step back, as human beings, we are wired to manage and control our surroundings. So we want to make sense of what's happening around us, but not just what's happening at present. We also want to know what will happen in future, or we want to analyze some past data and then infer what might happen in the current moment. Now, you can only manage what you measure. And what do you measure? You measure data, right? So, for example, measuring data to understand performance has been a constant pursuit of businesses all along. Now, with the advances in technology, data can be gathered at almost every cross section. Every cross section of humans and technology, humans and machines, machines to machines, every single cross section data can be gathered. And this data that's being gathered is at a humongous scale, and it is humanly impossible to apply any mathematical methods to it. So that's why we need machines. We need machines to apply mathematical methods to data at scale, and that's the machine aspect of machine learning. Now, what's learning in machine learning? Now, we definitely want machines to learn to analyze the data. And that's why we called machine learning. So if we go back to our philosophy, we want to analyze the data to understand the present and also predict the future. And we want machines to learn to analyze the data. Now, the mathematical methods to analyze the present is called, those methods are called unsupervised machine learning methods. And why they are called unsupervised, we will learn about that in a moment. But when you are applying unsupervised machine learning method, you remain in the sample space of the data. The data that you have is in a specific sample space, and you remain in that space. You don't talk about any spaces outside that space. It's a frame of reference. You only talk about that reference. Now, the second part, where we don't want to just make sense of what's present in front of us, but we also want to predict or infer some information about the future. The mathematical methods applied to data, machine learning methods that are applied to data to understand the future, are called supervised learning methods. And why they are called supervised, let's talk about that. So in supervised method, we present some training data to the machine. We tell the machine that this is the data that I have, this is the training data, this is the data you are going to get trained on. I want you to learn the relationship between these data points, the features of the data points, and then we ask the machine to learn the relationships between the training data and create a model. And now we create the model that we have created. We can predict a sample space that we are not seeing. So we basically ask the machine to learn a model from the training data that we present to the machine. And the whole reason why the machine is learning from that data is to create a model to predict a sample space that we are not seeing, that doesn't exist in front of us, but it might be somewhere in the population. Now, there is another interesting feature of data science where you can learn about a certain population from a population, and that is happens in causal inference and in recommendation systems, which we will talk about in some other episodes. But the basic difference between the machine learning methods which are unsupervised and supervised is for unsupervised machine learning methods, machine tells us what it has learned about the data. In supervised learning methods, we tell the machine what to learn, and machine learns the model and then gives us a model that we can predict a non-existing sample space from that model. Thanks for tuning in. I made this podcast to talk about intuitions behind data science, and we'll talk about some other idea in the next episode. There will be no math, no equations, just intuitions behind data science. See you soon.